Hi and welcome to my soul tribe. My name is Miriam Rose. If you like this video, please make sure to subscribe, set your bell on all, like, comment and share, as I really appreciate all of your support. Now let's get on with the video. Greetings, dear ones. I am Kryon of the Magnetic Service. Each of you is absolutely unique. If you could measure human past experience, you would find that each one is different in so many ways. You may have the same organs in the same place, biologically, but the filters that you carry into this meeting, into this channeling, this life, are profoundly diverse. We say that the bubble of bias that you come in with shields you from all realities that are not in your bubble. It shields you from the negative, and it shields you from the positive. Instead of coming in with a totally open mind, you carry in with you a preset of the way you think things work. If you are presented therefore with something that is not in your bubble of reality, your analysis is not to allow it. You block it from even being discussed. The biggest preset of all, and the one that exists within most humanity, is the perception of what's going to happen next. The future, as we have discussed before, is almost always determined by what humanity has experienced before throughout history. In other words, nothing new or positive is really expected. Instead, the past determines what the future will hold, and that's why it is so startling when humanity sees something really new. Dear ones, this particular channel is being described as the Great Escape. We start by giving information that was already presented in the past, but the viewers here are not aware of it. We speak of a planet that literally has gone through such darkness, such trouble, such horror and disappointment that it's actually biased to expect it to continue. Dear ones, I will say it again. Humans don't currently live long enough to remember any of the profundity of it. Your lifespans are ridiculously short, and you only live a fraction of what you were designed for. You would have to go to your grandfathers and great-grandfathers and bring them into this discussion to fully understand. If you could bring them back now, as we have said, they would be so very impressed and happy for you with many of the freedoms that they didn't have, or for the joy of things that you can do today with each other that was impossible for them. They would marvel at a world at peace, without looming wars or major threats on many sides, even though you don't see it this way at all. They would also remember the wars and the dysfunction of what caused them, and how horrific and sorrowful they were. Through their maturity, they would clearly see what doesn't work and what does through history, and would never repeat it, ever. But you don't have any of that, so a very young humanity simply tends to repeat the dysfunction and actually expects it to continue. There is no real senior maturity consciousness that can actually remember any of it at the core wise level. You keep repeating the dysfunction since you don't cognize the past. The consciousness of the past therefore becomes the consciousness of the future in your mind. This all changed in 2012. It's all centered on that which is astronomical and that which was foretold by the ancients of this planet. This precision of the equinox, which is caused by the 26,000 year wobble of the planet, is the core of these ancient prophecies. The humanity that has 23 chromosome pairs has actually been through 2 of these cycles. What did I just say? I will explain. The humanity that has 23 chromosome pairs is not like any other life form here. The ones directly under you in the evolutionary hierarchy have 24 pairs. You have 23. Your DNA was altered. The 24th pair is actually there, but we have told you that it hides in a multidimensional way. That's part of your potential evolution, which is coming. So 2 cycles of this earth wobble is almost 50,000 years. That's how long your civilization has worked the puzzle, and some of you have been here through it all. This is esoteric information for the doubters who are watching. These are laughable facts. Their bubble is a result of what they were taught, so it's a closed bubble. So I speak to the ones who resonate and who know that they have been here before. Dear ones, the darkness that you have seen and the horror that you have experienced could fill libraries. There is an awakening coming that will begin to react to these remembrances. Every one of you has been each gender. That means all of you have given birth to your children. All of you have lost children. All of you have been in the battlefield. All of you have unalived another human being. And all of this information and energy is still there in your Akash. What keeps all this sorrowful history from repeating again? Science will tell you that time isn't a straight line, and that it actually exists in a circle. It comes around and here it comes again. With this information, no wonder humanity feels it's stuck in a constant cycle of wars. However, in the 80s, this all started to shift, and in that period you called the Cold War, there was consciousness, a certainty that you would not survive another war on this planet, and the idea of a peaceful Earth started to unravel. The unraveling of any hope was made worse by your current prophecies of doom around the years 2000 and 2012. However, the year 2000 came and went, and the year 2012 came and went, and there was no Armageddon and no extinction of the human species. Instead, there was fulfillment of ancient prophecy, and you passed the marker into the new energy. It was a fresh start, and it's the reason Kryon is here at all. Dear ones, at this time on the planet, you really didn't expect to be here. Everything within your past expectations said you would be gone by now, and that expectation is what I want to talk about. The expectation creates a consciousness of the old doom prophecies, and that you grew up with. If you ask a human being what's next, they might say, well, eventually war. It's always war. That answer is what we want to talk about now as well. There are those who postulate that humanity is in layers of dimensionality, and that within the old dimensional energy, an Earth that was going to go through war and horror and nuclear exchange is actually still there and going through that. They say that what happened with the shift is that Earth simply shifted dimensions, and that there are layers of dimensional reality. In other words, in another dimension, it's still happening the way it was going to happen, but in this changed dimension where you sit now, it's not. Let's pretend for a moment that it's true that in another dimension very close to yours, the Earth terminates itself gradually with nuclear war and horror and all the things that you expected. Let's say it lies right next to this new layer that you have, this beautiful dimensionality that you have, which has new energy and no future world war. Instead, it's a dimension that is building a future that no one has seen before. It's one where, through unexpected wild cards, major change attributes that are startling, you climb out of an old consciousness and start to develop and evolve into something higher, where humans exist together in new cooperative and compassionate ways. So let's pretend for a moment that what was mentioned is the way it works. Then you would ask, well, can we still feel the other one, the war dimension? The answer is indeed, most of you do right now. The escape we talk about is multi-layered. The biggest escape, the greatest escape, is from the old dimension expectation, the one where your Earth would be destroyed by war and go right where it was predicted to go. You escaped the horror of nuclear world war, and instead you have started on a path that the ancients predicted could happen. Who were the ancients? The list of those who still remain is impressive. The Mayans, the Aztecs, the Toltecs, the Navajo, the Lakota, and the ancient Hawaiians. The list goes on to include dozens and dozens of those who are now extinct. However, even though they didn't know each other back then, they all talked about what might happen at the precision of the equinoxes. They said that if humanity made it without destroying itself, it would reset to a new potential and evolution would begin to a higher consciousness. It is the prophecy of the eagle and the condor. Indeed, you made it past the December 2012 date, and that date was scheduled 12 years after the old prediction of the demise of humanity through nuclear exchange in the year 2000. Now here you are, but still somehow feeling the dimension that had expected war. The puzzle that I'm here to tell you about in these years is about this new dimensional energy, what to expect, how to proceed, the beauty of it, being loved through it, the help that you have, and the new tools for humanity. That's my job as Kryon. So the greatest escape of all is that your civilization made it past 2012. Indeed, you escaped. But dear ones, that's just the basic reality level. The other layers of escape are just being realized. For some of you, maybe. Not those watching, there is still an old consciousness that really has not escaped the expected potential at all, even though horror didn't happen, and against all logic, many still expect it. So there is no escape from the perception of a bad future as long as it is still in humanity's bubble of belief. Dear ones, you're going to have to reframe your Akashic filter, and that is by using consciousness that starts to instruct your own cellular structure. Did you get that? This is the new human who understands that they have the ability to change things after the cellular level. You can change the past because of what the future holds. Now you know what the phrase retrocausality means. Things that are happening in the future can change the past. Do you now understand this better? It means, dear ones, that consciousness that expects a good future will create it. It will eliminate or reframe that negative part of the Akashic logic that says you are nuts. It's going to happen again, just like it did before. Are you working on that? What are your dreams like? How many of you are having dreams that reveal insecurity? That's your Akash working overtime to tell you things things are not getting better. Perhaps it would be better if you had a talk with your Akash. Did you know you could do that? That which is your higher self, which is the sacred you, is in your consciousness all the time. It is the God in you that we talk about. It works with you to avoid these things that are based on old thinking. Usually dialogue with your higher self. From what you now understand, you can start to change the very chemical level in your DNA that is where your Akash is stored, and start to reframe it. Start the instructions of a new paradigm. Remind your body that all this negativity is simply a residual history that will never repeat itself. In fact, due to the shift, it now belongs in another consciousness compartment completely. Let's put all the old books of the past in another room and shut the door. Label the door old things that are gone. Now tell your body that it is not allowed to access that room. From now on, only positive things that lead you into a future that is filled with light are allowed to be presented to you, and that includes your dreams. Did you know you could do that? You could make this very visualization happen, but you may have to do it over again and again because the Akash is stubborn and it is your own body you are dealing with. However, you will eventually win because you have so much help from your higher self, the part of you who loves what you are doing and will supply the logic of it to your innate. It is like exercising a new muscle in your thinking. There are more layers. I know you're saying, you mean we're not done yet? No, hardly. Your innate is responsible for knowing about the smart body and your chemistry. It is the part of you who knows who you are. From the health perspective, it is also the one that responds to benevolence and creates spontaneous remission. However, it is also responding to other kinds of thinking and can become programmed and unbalanced. A hypochondriac who trains himself to fear all microbes can actually unbalance his own smart body so that it cooperates with the idea. It presents how a human thinks. Remember this. How you think is how your body reacts. Your cellular structure is designed to listen to your instructions. Do you understand the power of this? What you expect, you create. So perhaps a person has trained their chemistry that there are diseases they may catch, and there is a short lifespan they are going to have. Then the Akash chimes in and says, that's right. Look at how you passed so many times before. Your bad health is built into your chemistry, so this time is just like the others. Your consciousness is king. What you say and what you think instructs the chemistry of the body. We have said this way too many times, and the real proof yet again is homeopathy. Homeopathy was deemed unscientific by a famous report from your medical world some time ago. They said in a tincture there are too few parts per million to be seen by any cells in the body, and therefore can't make any difference in any chemistry or systems in your body. There is simply no way it can work. And yet it works. So here is an interesting decision to be made, and it is one that is primary in the thinking of today. This very ancient system of healing works because it is the intent placed in the tincture when it's created and ingested that the body sees. So the one who places it under the tongue is instructing the innate on what to do, and that's homeopathy. Did you hear that? It instructs the innate, just like the hypochondriac does with a consciousness of fear. Science will also tell you that what the hypochondriac does is impossible as well, yet it is common to your culture, and you see it every day. Finally, what is the bias many carry about God, about spirit? It is totally based on what you were told, not on reality. I'll tell you what many think. First, the very method of receiving what I'm telling you is impossible. So what about this message? Don't let your God bias get in the way of some great logical thinking. Can your mind instruct your body? Could you have an enhancement of your life that you don't expect as a result of something actually proven to work? What about life extension? What happens when cells start to change because they are presented with a harmonious energy of thought? What happens when there is a confluence of energy that aligns things for the first time? These are the things that create health, long life, happiness, and balance. It is the discovery that inside you is a force to be reckoned with that comes equipped with a DNA package from the original creation. I am Kryon, in love with humanity, and so it is. Kryon. I hope you enjoyed this very positive channeling, and if you like celebrity news, then please visit my other channel called Miriam Rose. With absolute gratitude, love and light, cosmic kisses to everyone. Till next time, bye for now.